The higher than usual net investment losses this quarter was due to a couple extraordinary factors. Firstly, once we got clarity on the closure of the landmark transaction, which occurred after the quarter end, we had to take a write-down on some of the private assets that we were selling as a result of the closure of that deal. Secondly, we also experienced a very large loss in our Tahoe shares that we still held during the quarter. So that Tahoe shares went down about 37%, and that alone contributed about $3.4 million of that loss. It's an unrealized loss for the most part. We did sell some Tahoe shares in the quarter, but we continue at this point in time to hold a significant Tahoe position. So when we look quarter on quarter or year over year, our expenses were down considerably, and it was really broad brushed over all areas of our corporate overhead, including salaries and legal fees and really everything. We were able to reduce costs. So the difference was about $600,000 in the quarter, annualized $2.4 million. And really looking back to our second quarter of 2014, that would have been our last kind of normal quarter before we started to experience some extraordinary expenses over the next few quarters. So you'll see that in future quarters coming through when we do the year-on-year comparisons. But I am pleased we have been able to reduce costs substantially, and we're continuing to look at proactive ways to do even more. So we now are in a position where we have a much simpler balance sheet and a simpler story to tell investors. You're going to see in future quarters, a significant cash balance on our balance sheet, as well as our investment holdings, which was primarily made up by African Thunder for the time being. As I've said before, we may look to do a few more deals like African Thunder. And again, we're going to keep a simple story where our investments are meaningful. All of our investments are meaningful to our shareholders, and they're exclusive to our shareholders. So I think it's going to be something that's a lot easier for me as the CEO to go out and promote and tell the story, and it's going to be a lot easier for our investors to understand what's going on. With our current cash balance, we are looking to continue to make meaningful acquisitions in the current mining market that are growth-driven but still very opportunistic. So, we have been very active in the market in looking at things, in doing due diligence, and fortunately for us, as investors at this stage, the market has not really rebounded. So we have a great opportunity here. I don't know how long it will last, but we have an opportunity to make some significant investments, and that will benefit our shareholders for years to come. We also plan to continue with our buyback, our normal course issuer bid. We're going to be methodical and opportunistic when we see opportunities there, and really what we want to do is grow our shareholders' equity per share, and focus on that. So we're still very, very excited about African Thunder, even though the platinum price has been very weak on us over the past few quarters. When we originally made the African Thunder acquisition, we intended it to be somewhat of a growth vehicle. and a consolidator. And what the low platinum price has essentially done is it's driven us more to focus on Smoky Hills, which is the producing mine, and making sure we get that right and stable. We certainly have the platform to do further deals and to grow the company into a meaningful mid-tier producer over the coming years that will, create a lot of shareholder value for us and the other African Thunder shareholders. Interesting things are going on in the platinum sector right now. You're really seeing a bit of a changing of the guard, where new entrants are coming into the market. Very recently, there was a deal announced between Sibanye, which formerly was a gold producer exclusively, and Anglo Platinum, the largest platinum producer, and they're buying some significant mines from them. And so you're really seeing, new entrants to the market, Asian money flowing into the platinum sector, the South African platinum sector specifically, and these are transactions which I think are typical of a bottoming process, where you're getting the old guard out or reducing their footprint. You're getting new entrants in, and really creating what should be a very vibrant sector for growth and for M&A in the coming years.